Hello, guys, and welcome back to another cricket discussion. And you must be thinking, what is Miss doing here? What are you doing here, bro? This is not a
Bro,
Chelsea discussion.
bro, I'm here to not talk about Chelsea for once, which is going to be quite exciting. I'm here to talk some cricket, bro. I'm here to talk some cricket. Bangladesh is playing India, bro. Come on.
Bangladesh is playing India. We are going to talk about that. Miss is a Bangladesh supporter, and yes, it is going to be a good game of cricket. We're going to talk about Bangladesh versus India, and obviously the Netherlands versus South Africa game that happened last night.
Oh, wow.
Lateness is greatness. Devil may cry, bro. जैसा कहा जाता है. So
By the way, I really like this comment a lot. Netherlands upset Africa, so Baba upset the subscribers. Someone's got to get hurt. Someone's got to get hurt real bad, as Russell Peters
yeah,
would say.
yeah, definitely. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. All those people who are in the chat, you lovely, beautiful people. Hello, Abhinav. How are you, man? Hope all of you are doing great today. And yes, last night, something amazing happened. Netherlands upset South Africa, Afghanistan. I would not call it technically an upset because Afghanistan are not minnows anymore, in my opinion. Like, they've got some really good spinners, and top of the order, they've got some really good batsmen. They've made some really nice tweaks to their team, so they look a team to beat. Like, they're not pushovers anymore.
They could
But
potentially beat New Zealand today, I think. I honestly think they could potentially beat New Zealand today.
yeah, that is quite possible, to be honest. Like, I won't count it out. Like, New Zealand's are definitely favorites. Every team is favorites when they're playing Afghanistan, but you never know what is up with Afghanistan. But talking about the Netherlands South Africa game, like, first we'll talk about the game, then we'll look at the points table because the World Cup is now wide open. Anything can
Yeah.
happen now. Uh, so yeah, Miss, like, what is your take on the game? What happens with South Africa when they play Netherlands? Last time it was a T20 World Cup. This time round they beat them in the 50-over World Cup. What is happening?
Yeah. Bro, they must be their kryptonite. Seriously. It must be their kryptonite. I don't understand. And then, you know what the crazy part is, Baba? Guess who was one of the instigators for the victory for Netherlands?
Vandermeer, the
Ex-South African. Ex-South African. So that's obviously made the whole situation very, very interesting. Baba, I don't know what happens to South Africa. You're right. T20, same thing happened. Netherlands, shock. You know, over there, they also beat them quite convincingly. And this time as well, I have to say, I know it's only 38 runs, but they were never in the game after they lost like 5 or
the
6.
game was long lost. Yeah, the game was long lost, I think.
Exactly. It was already finished. And at the end, it only seemed like 38 runs, but it was already finished. Kudos to Netherlands, Baba. I had no idea they would get to 245. They were at one point, I think, 150 or something after 33rd over. So there was only 10 more overs to go. Correct me if I'm wrong in the live chat. I think they scored nearly 100 runs in the last 10 overs.
Yeah.
Considering they only had about 4 or 5 wickets in hand. I think they must have had 4 wickets in hand. They did a fantastic job, very uncharacteristic of South Africa to, I think, a lot of misfieldings, a lot of shots that were just going under them. There might have been a couple of drop catches as well. I don't know, Baba, what is with Netherlands, but massive respect to Netherlands. They gave Pakistan a bit of a scare in the first game. Pakistan, I think they kind of got away with that one. That could have been their number. That game could have been their number. Then Netherlands played. Who did they play after Pakistan?
They played New Zealand.
Yeah. Okay, that one they got smashed. That one they got smashed. But this one, I have to say, I have to commend, man. They played very well. Their bowling was bang on. Vandermeer was unbelievable. Who I really like a lot is Baba, their opening off spinner. Dutt, I think his name is Dutt, something Dutt. Bro, he's so good. Yeah, he's so good, and he's
and he was hitting it out of the park in the last overs as well.
Bro, 3 sixes, man, big sixes. What's he doing batting so low?
That was my exact same question. Like, why are you coming 8 down, bro, when you can hit it that big? Netherlands were 140 for 7, in 33.5 overs when Logan Van Beek was dismissed, and
So
they
they scored more than 100 runs in the last 10.
yeah, they scored 102 runs in last 10 overs and 105 runs to be precise. And I was when I was watching the game at the point when South Africa were 180 for 7, Netherlands were
Mm.
177 for 7.
Oh. So it's
177
even,
for 8,
even.
177 for 8 in fact. uh,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
177 for 7, whatever it was. Like South Africa had lost one wicket more, but they were 3 runs ahead. So it was those last 5 6 overs which actually turned the game in favor of
Change the
Netherlands.
game.
Yeah,
Mm.
and like South Africa were bowling them short on the pads, on the hips with no pace at all, and like they conceded very cheap runs in my opinion in last 5 overs.
What's your overall thought on South Africa? I know so far South Africa has played Australia.
Mm,
Australia,
mm,
they look like I don't know. I'm not sure if they're really prepared for this particular World Cup. They look a little bit clueless, but we'll see what happens moving forward. So far, South Africa has played Australia. They absolutely annihilated them.
mm,
South Africa has played Sri Lanka, where Sri Lanka still scored 300 runs in the second innings, which is a big deal. I know they were chasing 400 plus. I know South Africa, they look like a very good team, but I feel like on a given day, they can be got. Like they're
mm,
a little bit suspect as well, man. Like their batting, yes, they can click, but I think they're a little bit suspect with their when they play spin. I'm very interested to see how South Africa plays India or how South Africa even plays Pakistan,
mm,
even Bangladesh. I'm excited. I'm
mm.
excited to face South Africa to see how they face our spinners. I fully expect them to beat us, but they can be suspect. Like, what's your thoughts on South Africa, man?
Uh, as Aditya said, just when I thought South Africa are killing it, they go out and choke again. Lol. See, I was not quite uh, putting South Africa there before the World Cup
Mm.
was before World Cup started. Like I was not putting South Africa in my top four, but when I said that, people were like, "Oh no! They made a comeback against Australia. They were 2-0 down. They beat them
Yeah.
3-2. And now look at the middle order. Look at Larson, Markram, Vernedusen, and now De Kock is in form. They've got a good captain. Babuma might is in good form in 2023. Don't let his looks fool you." And like
Don't let it
uh,
look funny.
and uh, they look at the start they've made in this World Cup. I feel in a crunch game, or in let alone a crunch game, a game in which South Africa have to chase a target,
Mm.
and in a game where the opposition has a good finish to their innings, no matter
Yeah.
how dominant South Africa were for the first
Mm.
part of the innings, or like if South Africa are bowling first and the opposition is 100 for 5, for example, but
Mm.
somehow they make 220, 230, right? And they have a good finish to the inning. The momentum is with the
Mm.
team who's batted first. South Africa struggle in that, no matter what
Yeah,
the target is.
they very
Mm,
quickly get demoralized. They
Yeah.
very quickly mentality just goes,
Mm,
from
mm,
hero to zero, to be honest. But
mm,
I feel like, Baba, if they can't win this time, because I feel
mm,
like some of the people, some of the fans that has said to you that South Africa, they surely they have to be up there in the top. Quinton de Kock's, I think, last tournament. After this one, he's retiring from one-day internationals, I believe, or maybe cricket altogether. I'm not really sure. Maybe T20 he's still playing. Um, if this isn't it, then when? Then when, South Africa? When is it gonna happen for you? This seems like tailor-made. It seems like everything is clicking. But as you said, Baba, I'm with you.
mm,
Crunch moments, when you do need to be clutch.
mm.
You can put all your money, take everything from your bank, go to your local bank, collect everything, and put it all against South Africa. And you best believe you're probably going to win that bet. Do you know what I mean?
uh, South Africa record batting. Okay, is this last 15 matches or 15 World Cup matches, Summer? But yeah, whatever it is, it's a stat
Mm.
which tells you a lot. The 66% of the matches they've lost batting second. So yeah,
Wow.
uh, uh, it's a problem. It's a problem with South Africa, and I feel this. loss does a lot of harm to their mentality because they could
100.
have gone top of the table. Uh,
Yes,
uh, but I think India are the only unbeaten team right now, if I'm not wrong.
correct.
Like,
They are.
uh,
They are.
yeah, yeah. So,
And you know what,
hmm.
Baba? Yes, in
New
this
Zealand
World
is
Cup.
also there. Sorry, New Zealand is also there. New
Oh yeah,
Zealand is
they're
also
also unbeaten.
there.
Maybe tonight, they might not be unbeaten. Um, with South Africa and with any team, I think you can afford to lose maybe maximum 3 games and still squeeze into top four. But you lose to a team like Netherlands, then you've got some heavy matches coming up. I think South Africa still has yet to play
New
India.
Zealand, New
They're yet to
Zealand.
play New Zealand. They're yet
Hmm.
to play England. England is going to be playing for their hearts now. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like they've now lost 2, so one more loss, and it could be the end of England's, tournament. So South Africa, even though a strong start, it really finds themselves in a pickle by not winning that game against Netherlands. Now they've
Yep.
really put themselves into a bit of a mess. Really put themselves in a bit of a mess. And this goes back to your conversation, what you just said. Now that it's crunch,
Hmm.
how will South Africa, react? And this is why I said, take all your money from the bank and put it against South Africa, because I think you're about to double.
A bit like Chelsea. You don't beat Nottingham Forest, you don't beat Bournemouth, and now you find yourself in a must-win scenario
Yeah,
against
what
Arsenal,
are you
Man
doing?
City.
I thought you were not talking about Chelsea. What are you doing? Why are you making me sad again, bro?
Sorry, bro. Had to put it out there. Uh, yeah. Last World Cup cutoff was 11 points. Boom. Interesting. So you win 5 games and you draw a game. So 6 games to be on the safer side, you have to win.
Yes, yes,
So you can lose
yes.
3 games. Yes.
That's right. You
That
can lose
that
3. Yeah.
that is what Mrs. said. So
And one of
yeah,
those 3 cannot be Netherlands. Like,
yeah, obviously. Like 3 games that you would right now given the form the teams are in, you'll back yourself to win. Like Netherlands obviously beat South Africa, but you'll back yourself to win against Netherlands, you back yourself to win against Sri Lanka, and one of either Afghanistan or Bangladesh, in my opinion. Like
100%. 100%. I would
the
even say you'd back yourself to beat Bangladesh as well, and
mm,
like
mm,
Afghanistan, like the top
mm.
teams. You
Yeah,
should.
yeah,
You should
yeah.
be backing. But you
Mm,
don't take them lightly because
mm.
upsets can happen.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
but yeah, man,
Mm,
now South Africa, they find themselves in a pickle. They really do.
mm. Australia will come back. Australia apparently play in
Hmm.
Bangalore. Next game against Pakistan becomes a very interesting game. So that is a game which I am looking forward to the most right now. Not
Bro, we
tournament.
have to do a preview before that. We have to do a preview before that because
Definitely, bro.
I feel Australia, bro, they can't lose anymore.
Mm,
Like
mm,
Australia's lost 2. They really
mm,
cannot afford to lose more.
mm.
And Pakistan, after the slapping, oh my God, after the public slapping that they got in front of millions, they surely will want to change that outlook. So this is gonna be a fight. This is gonna be a
And
fight.
if Australia win and Pakistan, it's a 4-pointer, right? Like if Australia win and Pakistan lose, then both of them will be on
On 4
same number
points.
of points,
Yeah.
win same games. So
Yep.
that would be an interesting scenario for the table also. Chris says now tournament has opened for lower teams, especially for Australia. Imagine calling Australia a lower team, man.
It's opened up for the minnows like Australia.
Yeah. Like
It's too funny.
to be honest, many people were saying that there is no hype around this World Cup and people are not excited. But in my opinion, this is one of the most exciting World Cups now.
Bro, I don't know what's that guy's name? That English guy, the English brother, Bumble. What's his name? David Lloyd.
David Lloyd. David
David.
Lloyd. Yeah.
But I don't know what this guy was saying the other day
Mm,
on
mm,
Talksport.
mm,
This, honestly, I don't know about you, Baba. The
mm,
2019 one
mm,
was a bit of an odd time. I think it will be the same as well, odd timing for you. It was late, right?
mm,
Time difference. I didn't get to watch too many matches live. Even if I did, I would only watch maybe either the end when it's early morning for me or the start where it's quite late. So the time difference between Sydney, Australia, and UK, as you know, is very very bad. So I felt I didn't have too much hype around 2019. This one, I'm telling you, every single one of my family members, I've got a huge family here in Sydney, Australia. I've got WhatsApp conversations 24/7 with all the people in Bangladesh. Non-stop, it's buzzing. Everyone I can see are quite excited about this World Cup. And it's in good timing as well. Like with Australia and Sydney, it's like 4.5 hours. So it's very, Sydney and India, it's about 4.5 hours. So I'm very hyped, man. I don't know what, like, maybe it's because England, they're doing very rubbishly in this World Cup. So that's why there's no hype around them in the World Cup. When you lose to Afghanistan, no disrespect, obviously, kudos to Afghanistan. That's probably why English people are not excited about the World Cup when they start losing to, winning matches. So what can you do? I feel very excited about the World Cup, man.
Yeah, definitely. When like England, Australia, and maybe even South Africa, never know, 2 games from now find themselves in must-win situations. So
Yeah.
yeah, every game becomes a crucial match. Ninad bhai, love you, bro. No problem at all. We are always here for your rescue. Uh, okay. Miss, which country do you support? Bangladesh, bro. Bangladesh.
Bangladesh is where I'm born from. So I'm born in Dhaka, Bangladesh, but I live in Sydney, Australia. I've lived here almost all my life. So, of course, Bangladesh first because my blood is from Bangladesh. But there's always going to be a soft spot for Australia, of course. But if it's Australia, Bangladesh, which will be very soon, 100% Bangladesh. Come on.
uh, I also support Bangladesh and Australia, Bangladesh because I like that underdog to win always.
Come on.
So yeah. Okay. So Miss, here's the table, and we've had quite a good look at the teams right now. So who are your top 4 right now? Like on the early evidence, who do you put there? There are 4 semifinalists.
India number 1. I honestly cannot see a single weakness. Obviously, we're going to talk about India versus Bangladesh previewing very, very soon. I'm finding it very difficult how Bangladesh's unit will tackle India. And India obviously now have seen so many big dogs who have let go of points and who have been upset by lower teams. So they'll be very aware, India, that I'm not going to fall into this trap. I want to take care of business with Bangladesh. So for me, India number 1 at the moment because I see no weakness. Honestly, I see zero weakness. Fielding, batting, bowling, captaincy, everything. So India number 1. Number 2, I will have to probably keep New Zealand. They seem very consistent at the moment. We shall see what happens at the end of today against Afghanistan, but I still believe New Zealand is hot favorites to beat Afghanistan. So India, New Zealand, for me, locked in. 3rd and 4th, Baba, roller dice, and give a number to any one of them. Anything is possible.
See, if South Africa, if they would have beaten Netherlands, I would be like, okay, no, this is South Africa's World Cup. Maybe this is South Africa's World Cup. A good start, 3-3. But now they are back to doing South Africa things, man. Like what South Africa does in ICC tournaments. South Africa being South Africa, you never know like what will happen in their next game. Pakistan, like whenever you think they're down and out, they're gone in a tournament.
They come back, man.
They come back hard. They pull off a result which you don't expect. Like in the last World Cup, they beat England. When they got beat by West Indies and they defeated England in the last World Cup. So this is the kind of team we are talking about when we talk about Pakistan. So Pakistan Australia game becomes a very crunch game in my opinion, and Pakistan Afghanistan also is a game which you have to look out for because it is being played in Chennai, and you know what happened in Chennai when Australia and India played that game. The ball was moving all over. It was spinning, it was seaming of the length, and all of those things were happening. So Gantavya says, I don't think New Zealand is surely in. They have a very good chance of losing today. If the pitch spins, I'm backing Afghanistan to win as the match is in Chennai.
Where is it being played today? Which ground?
Chennai.
Ooh. Come on, New Zealand. Come to the Afghanistani hands.
But Sarfraz's captain was different. Babar likes the dog. Yeah, I completely agree with that.
True.
Babar does not have the dog in him as far as the captaincy is concerned, in my opinion. But Netherlands have got the dog. They showed it last night.
Definitely, they have the dog in them. You
Uh,
know what, Baba? I would actually squeeze in Australia in the top four. I will squeeze them in. I feel like that victory against Sri Lanka, it was a very good pullback. First of all, against Sri Lanka, Sri Lanka was flying, none for 150 or something like that, and then all out for 205 or something like that. So very good pullback, but Australia I didn't feel was very convincing in batting, even though yes, chased it down in quite a smart amount of time. But I wanted it to be like maybe maximum 2 down, 3 down, but ended up losing like 5. So, but I still feel that victory against Sri Lanka maybe could start something for Australia. So I could have them placed minimum somewhere in third or fourth, probably fourth at least. I'm very doubtful about England making a top four. That loss against Afghanistan will hurt them a lot. That will demoralize them quite a lot. I think South Africa are in a bit of a strange position, man. So for me, the top four would be India, New Zealand, Australia, Pakistan.
Australia, Pakistan. I would still put South Africa above Australia.
Hmm.
I think South Africa can like, but you never know with England, man. Like England have got a very powerful batting lineup. Like
They do,
they,
but I think they're struggling in Indian
hmm,
conditions. They really are struggling here.
hmm,
They can't do their baz ball. They need to
hmm,
be a little bit more clever. They think they can just do the whole baz ball, come in and just slap everyone around from the get go. You got to respect. You got to respect the pitch. Sometimes it's a flat track bully, no problems. But sometimes the ball is seaming around. Like you look at the
hmm,
Afghanistani
hmm,
bowlers, not just the
hmm,
spinners. Mujib was fantastic, of course,
hmm.
but they're seamers. The Afghani
Yeah, so that
seamers were
Faruqi
all.
guy bowled really well. Yeah, yeah,
So
he was really
England,
good.
England has to respect. England hasn't even played India yet,
Hmm,
and that's also a very historical match. England versus
hmm,
India. In
hmm,
India, I'm sure
hmm,
all the Indians will be up for this one as well. So you lose that one, which I'm hoping India doesn't let go of the gear and
hmm,
relaxes one match.
hmm.
Like I don't know, Baba, what do you feel? Like will India rotate like much like in football? They do the rotation, they take a few players out. Will
No,
they
no, no.
rotate?
I think the only rotation will be if you play Shardul Thakur or Ashwin, depending on the conditions. Like if
Hmm.
there's a track which spins a lot, you get in Ashwin for Shardul, and if the conditions are same, then you don't change anything because you've got two quality spinners in Kuldeep and Ravindra Jadeja
Hmm.
anyway.
Will
So
they change
I
any
think
batting lineup? Will they change
no,
any
no,
of the
no,
batting
no.
lineup?
See, I personally am an advocate of don't fix it if it's not broken.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
I don't think anything's broken. Shubman Gill is fit.
Hmm.
He's a proper like he's the next big thing in my opinion. If we talk
Yeah.
about Indian cricket,
Huge. Huge. Huge.
and Shreyas Iyer now is looking solid in past two innings. So number four conundrum is also kind of sorted.
Hmm.
Uh, the good thing about India is they've chased uh, we've chased in all three games,
Hmm.
so we've got a fair share of batting under pressure now.
Hmm.
So what this batting lineup needs is a game maybe against Sri Lanka, where we bat first and
And pile
the
on the
ball
runs.
and
Pile
pile
on
on
the
the runs
runs.
to get that feel good factor. Like
Bro, why
there is
why you want to bash
already
Sri Lanka, bro? Sri Lanka got 3 losses in a row, bro. Give them, come on, man. My brother wants to smash Sri Lanka out of this World Cup.
I never really gave Sri Lanka a chance without Hasaranga in this World Cup, anyways. So now
Fair
that their
enough.
captain is also out, not much is left. I think of their team. Uh, Bangladesh has been a recent Achilles heel for
It's
India, be
true.
it the
It's
ODI
true.
series in Bangladesh or in Asia Cup. We really struggled against them. I agree, bro. Yeah, we'll
But I
talk
think
about.
both the times India has played sort of weakened teams in all of
Uh,
those sort of
yeah,
matches.
there was context attached to those results. So we'll talk about that. But coming to
Hmm.
my top four, very difficult. India, New Zealand, I'll put as my two teams. And now it's down to who hold their nerves at the end of the group stage. So it's very difficult to predict right now, as you've said, Miss. I want to say England, but I don't know how they'll come back. As I was about to say England, you reminded me that they are struggling so much in these conditions, and then I got
Hmm. You got
reminded
scared.
me of it. Yeah, I got
Don't let me
reminded.
convince you, bro. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself.
I'll say this is going to be the top four, which you see on your screen right now,
Wow.
and the exact order.
Ooh. Interesting. Next up, Pakistan's playing Australia.
So
We'll
Pakistan,
see.
Australia is a make or break for me. Whoever wins that game finishes fourth.
That's going to be a blockbuster. That really will be a blockbuster. Because Pakistan, I feel like they yet to click with their paces. Shaheen Shah, all of these bowlers have been a bit of a letdown for me so far. I had big hope that Pakistani seam bowlers were actually going to do a lot of damage in this World Cup, and they haven't. In fact, I know they didn't get enough runs against India, but the way Rohit Sharma slapped that ball around, oh my God, that was disrespect. That really was disrespect. So I don't know. We'll see. Australia generally plays well against pace, and Pakistan seems to be very pace heavy. Australia's issue is that there's no out and out spinners in the Australian team.
Zampa did well in the last game, but yeah, he has not been that effective.
Bro, he did well, but how many runs did he still leak? I'm pretty sure he still leaked more than 60 runs and only bowled like 8 overs or something like that. So that's where it's going to come down to. Pakistan is always capable of a very nice, beautiful collapse all the time. They're very capable of a collapse. So let's see what happens. I think the most important player for me in Pakistan is Mohammad Rizwan. Rizwan's an unbelievable player.
Yeah, he's a decent player. Abdullah Shafiq, Usama Mir, Zaman Khan, Shaheen Shah Afridi, and one or two more players are suffering for a viral. All are doubtful for the match against Australia. Bhai Saab.
Oh wow!
More than half of their team. Let's see what happens. Viral fever, mein to players play all the time. And let's see, that is what it is. Like World Cup cricket does not come often. 4 years, once in a 4
I'm sure
years.
they'll find some sort of medication and make sure that the players are fine for the match. Yeah.
Rohit says, I think one team will qualify with 10 points, maybe with better net run rate, but this time will happen because of uncertainty, and all teams will play all 9 games. In last World Cup, only Australia and Afghanistan play. Yes, that's a very good point, Rohit. I think that's a very, very good point. And that was the reason why I was upset when New Zealand, India got washed out in the group stages in the last World Cup, because I wanted India to play New Zealand once before the semi-finals. And India had not played New Zealand. I think India and New Zealand game got washed out for India. India had played all the other opponents. We had lost to England, and the New Zealand game got washed out, and we topped the table in the last World Cup also. But yeah, that's a very good point. Shikhar says India, New Zealand, South Africa, and Australia are my top 4. Okay, guys, आप अपने सब बाकी लोग भी बता दीजिए. Who are your top 4? And who do you think, apart from India, New Zealand, I think most of the people will have India and New Zealand. What are your 2 other teams that you think are going to make it to top 4 before we move into the big game, that is India and Bangladesh? India, New Zealand, Pakistan, Australia. Not topped? Top kiya tha, bro. Top nahi kiya tha. We topped the group, bro. It was 1 versus 4th versus. नहीं, एक सेकंड. 4th तो ऑस्ट्रेलिया नहीं, 4th न्यूजीलैंड ही तो आई थी यार. टॉप ही तो कंफ्यूज कर देता.
Someone check the table. Someone check 2019 table.
World Cup 2019.
I'm pretty sure India was top as well.
Yeah, we topped the group, man. New Zealand finished 4th.
Yeah.
Topped. Yes, topped, man. It was 1 versus 4th. I remember it. Babuma said it didn't like an ICC event tonight. It seemed like a bilateral series by the Dutch. I didn't hear Wak. Arey yaar. Oh man. Come on, man. Mickey Arthur. India, New Zealand, Australia, and South Africa. And Australia 3rd. Australia will have to do a madness, bro, from now.
I think they will. I think they will do a madness. I feel maybe that's a bias coming out.
If Australia finishes 3rd, they are winning the World Cup, man. Because the Australia,
I don't know about that.
See, you don't want to face Australia in semis and finals. Like They
Yeah,
are the
they're not
Real Madrid.
chokers. They're not
Yeah,
chokers.
they are the Real Madrid. Like they lose if they have a bad team, or like right
Mm,
now it is the worst Australian team that I've seen in a World Cup as of now
yeah,
so far.
yeah.
But you don't face Australia in a knockout game, man. Like they are a different gravy when it comes to them.
Dangerous,
They are dangerous,
dangerous.
dangerous team, man. Uh,
See, the mentality for
hmm,
Australians is,
hmm,
they never give up.
hmm,
Aussies, literally, like I've lived
hmm,
here. Like I
hmm,
see some of the kids, you know. But honestly speaking, like, when we were kids, like, 5, 6 year olds, 7 year olds, we just, mucking around at
hmm,
home,
hmm,
watching some TV or playing some PlayStation, this, that, the other,
hmm,
Game Boy.
hmm,
Aussie kids, when they're 5, 6, 7 year olds, they're in the middle of the ocean catching a wave. They're surfing, already
hmm,
surfing. They're swimming.
hmm,
Like they're different breed, man. These kids are different breed over here. So they take that same mentality to sports.
hmm,
You look at someone like Australia. The population of Australia is, I think, close to about 30 million. It's not a big country. I mean, size-wise, it's a big country, but very small population. But the amount of quality team that Australia produces every single time is mad. Australia has won the Cricket World Cup 5 times, man. 5 times. And even when they don't seem like they have a team that can compete, even that team ends up at semifinals
yep.
or at finals. Do you know what I mean?
Like this is the 12th World Cup cricket. This is the 12th Cricket World Cup. Out of 11 World Cups previously played, they've played in seven finals
That's
and
crazy.
won it 5 times. They've lost only
That's
two
crazy.
finals.
That's
That's
crazy.
crazy, man. That's crazy, man. Like, and the other times, I think, barring one or two times, they must have made semifinals. Like
Mm,
in 2019, they were in semifinals. 11, they got knocked out by us,
mm.
and one or two times, like they definitely would have made semifinals. So yeah, that is what Australia are all about. Killer mentality in the big tournaments. Travis Head is back. Will definitely give Australia a
That's
huge
a
boost.
huge boost in the middle order. Australia's biggest problem is middle order.
Mhm.
Travis Head is going to be immense, immense. I would actually even prefer Travis Head to open because Mitchell Marsh, I'm not really very confident
Well,
about.
made a 50 in the last game.
Yeah, but I feel like
Uh,
technically he's more better to have
mhm.
some power later on in the innings with Stoinis and Mitchell Marsh, and I feel like that area is going to be good. Maxwell, Stoinis, Mitchell Marsh is far better there. Who misses out? That's a different question. But Travis Head, I think, would be a very, very good opener.
Hmm. Let's see what happens with Australia. Now we move into the game
Come
which
on.
we were looking forward to talk about, India versus Bangladesh. Miss, before we talk about this game, particularly
Hmm.
this game, like let's go back in time, like Bangladesh cricket. I want to talk about Bangladesh cricket, like how we see Bangladesh, how we perceive Bangladesh cricket, what
Hmm.
their journey has been, and from your point of view as a fan.
Yeah.
Like for me, uh, Bangladesh, when they came into the scene, like obviously they were seen as a minnows. Earlier, they were always seen like, okay, they are there, but not many big teams will, face a threat against Bangladesh. Now that 99 thing happens when they beat Pakistan in the group
Pakistan.
stage.
Yeah. Hmm.
So there are signs of life, and there were like not world class players, but they were decent players in late 90s and early 2000. Like there was Akram Khan, Khalid
Hmm.
Mahmood, Khalid Masood, Habibul Bashar was a good captain in my
Top
opinion.
player.
Like
Yeah.
yeah, Habibul. I like the demeanor. I like this demeanor, like how he carried himself on the field, and uh,
Yeah.
yeah, and how he conducted the team. Uh, then then Muhammad Ashraful comes in,
Hmm.
and I think he was that much needed boost. Unfortunate the way it ended for him, but yeah,
Yeah.
we'll not talk about that. But that famous win against Australia and England in that try series, when
Yes. Yes. I
Ashraful
still
got that
remember
century,
that. Yeah. So
and then
he hit a century. I think he hit a century.
he hit a century in that game,
Yeah.
and then came the 2007 World Cup, in which I think Bangladesh kind of announced themselves when
Hmm.
they knocked out India in the group stage.
Yeah.
They even beat South Africa in the Super 8s,
Yep.
if I'm
Yep.
not wrong. Ashraful
Yep.
was instrumental in that game as well. And then Bangladesh got a golden generation of players. I think
Yes.
2015 World Cup, Bangladesh was the
Is the
best team
peak.
in my.
The peak. The peak. That was that World Cup.
Mm,
We should have tried to push a little bit more
mm, mm,
because we had some unbelievable players, man. We had Mushfiq,
Hmm.
we had Shakib.
Hmm.
Obviously Shakib 2019 was unbelievable. That was his tournament, right?
Hmm.
But 2015, Mahmudullah, Mushfiq, Shafiq,
Tamim
uh,
Iqbal, top of the
Tamim
order.
Iqbal, top of the order, very strong. Mashrafi was still, of course, not as fast, but very good tight length and line.
So good
Rubel
captain also.
Hussain, very good captain. Rubel Hussain swinging the ball. Um, yeah, that team was special. And that match against England, I still remember, man. Oh my! I have that match recorded, by the way. I recorded that match.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah, I recorded that match. I remember me and my brother and everyone else, we were all watching. And I said, we must record this match from the beginning. And what a fantastic match that was, man. The way we got England at the end. We absolutely choked them. We choked them. I think we scored 275. Mahmudullah scored a century, brilliant century. And I knew that was enough. I knew that we could potentially choke England here. And exactly that's what we did. But, talking about Bangladesh's squad and the ups and downs that you've just said, all the way from 99 onwards till now. As a fan, honestly, Baba, I feel I'm a little bit disappointed. You see someone like Sri Lanka, 1996. How many years were they playing until they won the 1996 World Cup? I think they were only playing for about 15, 14 years. I think they were prior to that, they were only playing.
Yeah, like they really came into the scene like they had played the World Cups before, but they were like the minnows in those World Cups also.
Yeah.
Like, no, no one
No
gave them
one
a
knew
chance.
much about them. Then
Yeah.
1996, they came up with the new revolution. First 15 overs.
Yeah,
No
the
one going for it.
Ranatunga, the
Jayasuriya,
Yeah.
Kaluwadrana, and Arvinda de Silva, Guru Sinha. I think Dharmasena was also back then. Roshan Mahanama. All these fantastic players. They revolutionized the game. That first 15 overs. Let's go for it. No fielders outside. Let's absolutely go aerial and clean up. I feel like I'm not saying that Bangladesh should have done something revolutionary, but the talent we had during our peak time, the time span that you just went through, I feel like we should have won something, man, Baba. We should have won an Asia Cup. We choked against India so many times in the finals as well.
I think there was a final against Pakistan in an Asia Cup. It was 2012. 12,
Yes.
I think it was 2012.
I think 12. Might have been 12. Yes.
Yeah,
Might have been
because
12.
India. Yeah.
And we did not perform well. Recently in the last Asia Cup, the one before this one, I think it was India versus Bangladesh. T20, yes. It was India versus Bangladesh. I think Bangladesh was in the hot seat. And Dinesh Karthik needed I think 2 sixes. Like he needed something ridiculous in the final over.
That was a try
16
series,
runs.
I think. That was a try
that might have
series.
been a try series. Things like this, I feel like this team needed to get a trophy somewhere, man. They really needed to get a big trophy, and that has been my biggest, I guess, disappointment. And look, a lot of the time, I don't know about in Indian cricket, which you'll be able to tell me a lot more. There's too much politics involved in the Bangladeshi cricket. Too much politics.
Okay, that side, if you could like explain with a few examples. So because we know about Pakistan and India cricket, but we don't really know what happens in Bangladesh cricket. So if you could throw some light on that.
So this is just my perspective, and people in the live chat, up to you if you guys have different perception. I don't live in Bangladesh. I just see and read and hear what I hear from my friends and family over there. And obviously I know there could be a lot of staunch Bangladeshi fans who might not appreciate what I'm about to say. So each to their own. I believe at the moment, I think Papon is our, I think you call it like the president or something for the Bangladeshi Cricket Board. The vibe that people get is not necessarily that you have to be the talented player to get into the team. Is who you know as well sometimes. So if you know high officials in the parliament, in the government, people that are close to the prime minister, then they may get some favoring into the team. There are certain times so many players, highly, highly talented players, that may not have that background. Do you know what I mean? Now, I don't necessarily mean the background have to be like rich or anything like that, but there's been many incidents where just because a player knows someone in the high officials, that player gets an opportunity to come in. You know what I mean? You look at the recent incident that's happened with Tamim Iqbal, and what has transpired over the last few months with the Afghanistan series as well. How Tamim Iqbal after that has gone for retirement. Literally 24 hours later, the Prime Minister of Bangladesh called Tamim Iqbal and reinstated him back. So you see where I'm going. Like, who has this guy wanted to retire, and then the Prime Minister comes in and can intervene, that kind of stuff. Now there's controversy around that as well. You know, Tamim is kind of giving the sort of like the vibe that he's felt that he's being pushed out by Papon, you know, the president, and Shakib as well. He doesn't get along with Shakib. Shakib was the captain prior to Tamim Iqbal. Tamim Iqbal took over after that incident that Shakib had, the spot fixing and whatnot. And not that he was involved, it's just some people approached him and he didn't report that. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys probably know about that incident as well, where Shakib was suspended for about, I think, 12 months or 13 months, something like that. And during that time frame, Tamim Iqbal was the captain. And it almost felt like, you know, people like Papon, who seems to have maybe some close ties with certain players, like for instance Shakib. You know, once Shakib came back after his suspension, Shakib kind of probably felt, well, give back my captaincy. Like, you were just an interim, I mean, for the time being. So these kind of things keep happening all the time. Players that are consistently out of form sometimes seems to keep getting selected all the time, when other players who seem to have shown some good quality don't get that opportunity to come in. So yeah, this is why I feel it keeps hindering us, Baba. Like, we cannot go to the next level because our organization from top to bottom is politically driven, is driven by greed as well, by money. So, and then it's also driven by their own agendas. You know, they're not really in the lookout for what's best for the country. Sometimes it's what's best for them. You know what I mean? So these are the things us as a nation, if we can somehow overcome, then we'll go somewhere. Because, Baba, honestly speaking, we are a nation of nearly 200 million people. That's 200. I think 165, 185 million. That's just in census. That's the facts. But if you really go out and count actually how many people in my country, there's probably more than 200 million. There's so many that are accountable for. Out of that large population, you're telling me a country that is mad about cricket. Cricket is the number one sport in Bangladesh. A country that is investing as well quite a lot of money in cricket. Now we have the Bangladeshi Premier League, the 2020 cricket over there. You know, we've got some very, very good stadiums. We've got some very good training facilities. One thing we can definitely improve, and not improve, we must do better, is try and replicate what India is doing in terms of the domestic cricket. Like Ranji Trophy that you guys have is probably better than a lot of, like, you know, international teams out there. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's how good Ranji Trophy is. So something like that, if we can invest more grassroots cricket. But I feel like we have everything. We got everything in set. We just need the right people to drive this country forward now. And then we should be competing. Every single time we should be competing. That's my belief.
President Licha says Papon guy just gets on my nerve. Among other things, he just keep acting like he's the national team manager. Comes out every match, win or
Yeah.
lose, and criticizes every single player and coach. And uh, the next point to continue this, I thought the recent board elections were going to put an end to him, but it turns out he has a system in place that all his friends keep getting elected, and the circle
Yeah.
just continues. So
That's this is the
that's
thing. Yeah.
quite unfortunate, bro. Uh, Muhammad Isa Khan Sami says, "What are your saying is truth, but also the thing is, our pipeline is not strong and local cricket is in declining phase, bro. Even if your pipeline is strong, you won't get to see it. You wouldn't
Mm.
come to know how strong your pipeline is unless the new guys are given a chance, and that is what I feel, miss. Like what I see the difference between Afghanistan's approach and Bangladesh's approach is,
Mm.
like Bangladesh does not move on from a player unless that player is rendered absolutely useless. Okay, we've got no use for you. Now you won't get into the team. It's not like that. Okay, you've gone through a lean patch. Here's a competition for you. Both of you are in the same boat. It's the team that needs to do well. It's not like you're a Shakib Al Hasan or you're Mushfiqur Rahim or you're for a Mahmudullah or you're for a like whatever big name player you are. There's a competition. Here he is, and he will give you a proper run for your money as well. Like
Mm.
what happened in Afghanistan is like they've moved on from some of the players that they had. Like they had Asghar Afghan, their captain, Mohammad Shahzad, the fat wicketkeeper that they had,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they moved
Yeah.
on from him. Got in that Ikram guy who's a good keeper and a good batsman.
Solid. Solid. Yeah.
Have taken some tough calls, made that Shahidi captain, and Mohammad
Mm.
Nabi was the captain earlier, Rashid Khan captain sometimes this team in T20 cricket. But they've gotten some really good and young players who like fight for their place in the team. And it's not like these are the only players that they have. Like they have a good squad, good pool of 15 to 20 players. And I think that is lacking in Bangladesh sometimes. Like the 15, apart from
Why
20,
do you think? Why do you think Afghanistan has this benefit? Why do you think Afghanistan has this benefit?
because we have adopted them. Because they play in Dehradun. Their whole cricket is in Dehradun. I think because of their how I don't know how their board functions or how much say BCCI have there in cricket in their cricket, but I think they are being run the way you have told about Bangladesh cricket. I assume they're being run better.
Correct.
Uh,
And that's what it comes down to. They've been run better.
hmm,
And that's all it needs because as you said, they probably don't have a huge pool of players ready. We have honestly, Baba, we in Bangladesh, we have a huge pool of players ready.
hmm,
Huge pool of players. But we are run so poorly. As you said, someone who's dropping stinkers after stinkers after stinkers. Like I'll tell you right now.
hmm,
We're going to talk about the match very soon, right? Liton Das. Someone who consistently flops. But for some reason, he always shows up against India. I don't know why. Something against India, he always shows up. Best believe, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not promoting gambling or anything. But if you want to put someone to top score for Bangladesh, put Liton Das because he loves playing against India.
hmm,
But then he'll go another 10 innings without any score. Then he scored, I think, 71 the other day against England. But that was a bit of a no match contest against England, you know. So someone like him who keeps getting chances after chances after chances, and not just 5, 6 chances. You know how sometimes in football, like we say,
hmm,
oh, Mudrik should get at least 5 starts,
hmm,
like before
hmm,
we can start talking about him.
hmm,
You know,
hmm, hmm.
Liton Das has been getting starts for the past 3, 4 years. 3, 4 years,
Hmm.
and yet we can't drop him. So these are some of the things. Whereas, as you said, someone like Afghanistan, I'm telling you right now, Baba, after this World Cup, when they do the whole breaks down their entire World Cup, Jonathan Trott, their coach, I don't know if he's going to be their coach after the World Cup. We'll see. But if they do keep him, I'm pretty sure they'll break down the entire World Cup and they'll decide that this guy, probably not worth keeping anymore. We need to bring in some new faces. This guy, we're keeping to build for the next World Cup.
Hmm.
Whereas with us, we know this guy cannot be in the team. But someone like Papon will have some sort of agenda. No, they're staying. They will stay.
Hmm.
And you'll potentially see them in the next World Cup as well. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So this is, and then, our pool of players that we have such strong players ready to go, they're not getting the opportunity. But I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. We've got some really good youngsters lined up now. In the likes of Shanto. Shanto looks like a very good player to me. Um, hasn't really blitzed the World Cup as yet. Just scored that 50 against Afghanistan, but he's technically very very sound player. I'm looking forward to Shanto when players like Sakib, Mushfiq, Mahmudullah, obviously all of these players, this will be their last World Cup. When these players move on, I'm looking forward to Shanto. I'm looking forward to Ridoy. Ridoy seems a bit of a hit and miss, but I feel like if someone can just mentor him a little bit, I think there's a quality player there. I think even our opener, Tanzid, who's also has shown very good technical qualities, but once again, young player, of course, have to be patient. And some of our seamers, Shariful as a left armor, seems like a very very good seamer, man. Um, Another one that we are not seeing as yet is Hassan Ahmed, who's also a very good seamer. So we'll see if he gets an opportunity. Um, but yeah, look, the future is very interesting. We shall see what happens.
Aditya says, Miss, don't you think Bangladesh cricket could face a dangerous situation when Shakib Mushfiqur, the spine of the team, retires? See, now we've seen this with one team called Sri Lanka when Sangakkara, Jayawardene, Malinga like led them for a while, but when he's gone, Angelo Matthews was also a great player and a great leader for the team. But when all these players moved on, now you're seeing that Sri Lanka is in a bit of a mess. Muralidharan was on a podcast and the guy asked him, like, what happened to Sri Lankan cricket when Dilshan, you, Sangakkara, Jayawardene, you moved on? Like, you were always there till 2015, you were the team to beat. Now, what happened? Muralidharan says, I don't know. Because right now they have better facilities than us. They have more money than us. We did not
Yeah.
have a Sri Lankan Premier League at our time in which the investors could pump in money into Sri Lankan cricket. Now all of that is there, but I don't know what is happening right now. So I think it comes down to how your team and your systems are in place and how the board functions essentially. And hence, like, there is a frustration among Indian fans that we've not won a major trophy since last 10 years. But come on, man. Regularly, we have been in the Test Championship finals, the semi-finals. It is all down to the planning. If your planning is good, if the systems are in place, on a given day, if you lose, it's okay. But it shouldn't be like you're not able to compete. Apart from that 2021 T20 World Cup, because it was more down to the dressing room politics also and what was happening behind the scenes rather than the on-field thing. Because not there, it was not like the players were bad, but apart from that tournament, I think in every other tournament, either we've been in the semi-finals or the finals. So this shows how same with Australia, England in past few years. If your board is willing to, make the right decisions, is willing to take tough calls, then that is how, like, you pave your way to achieve great things and at least be in that top 4, top 2 all the time in the big tournaments. And that is what is lacking in maybe Bangladesh and Sri Lanka as we speak. Who is that next big leader you see, Miss, in this team when Mushfiq and Shakib retires, or any other guy we've not seen enough of? Who
I
takes the Bangladesh cricket forward?
I personally think, as I said, Chanto is a big one. Miraz is a huge one for us as well. Mehdi Hassan Miraz.
There are two Mehdi
Um,
Hassans, right?
yeah,
In the
yeah,
team.
yeah.
I get
so,
confused all the time.
so one of them is Mehdi Hassan, and the other one is Mehdi Hassan Miraz, because both of them have the same name. So one of them is Miraz. Um, I think Mehdi Hassan Miraz, I definitely see him as someone who can be that Shakib kind of a mold. He bowls well, he bats. Already we've seen in this World Cup, but he's got a long way to go, Baba. He's got a long way to go. He needs to be very much consistent. Now he's playing as a genuine batsman up top of the order. Sometimes he opens, sometimes he comes third drop. So he needs to show a lot more consistency. I think the technical ability is there. The way he drives, the way he cuts, the way he pulls, you can see there is definitely someone who is invested in batting. You know what I mean? He's not someone who just became sort of like a part-time batsman. Not something like that. Someone who has really invested in batting. And bowling wise as well, we've seen how Miraz has bowled in subcontinental conditions, but Shakib is someone who was able to take wickets almost everywhere, all around the world, with his left arm spin. You know, Shakib obviously has a lot of variation with his bowling. It's not really that too much to do with spin at all. It's more just a lot with variation, slow one, faster one. Sometimes the top spinner. So Miraz definitely, but as I said, I do feel Shanto. Do remember that name, man. I think Shanto is going to be. He gives me that attitude of a captain, man. He gives me that attitude that someone that we can build upon. And this is why I felt this World Cup, it was going to be his breakthrough World Cup, like where he announces himself that, don't worry, Bangladeshi fans, after Mushfiq, after Shakib, after Mahmudullah, you can start relying on me now, moving forward. So I'm hoping against India, Shanto really piles on the runs, man. I just hope so.
Do you think Shakib is the greatest all-rounder of all time? See, for me, the greatest all-rounder of all time is Jack Callis. Like no one even comes close to him. If we talk about the spinning, like a spinner who can bat in white ball cricket, he has a good shout. But Yuvraj Singh for me, like especially in those 2-3 years when he was bowling 10 overs regularly. But if you have to like look across formats in white ball cricket, if you're talking about
Shakib has been number one for a long time, like number one all-rounder, that is. In ICC ranking, he has been number one all-rounder in ICC ranking for several years.
Yep. So, but for me personally, it has to be Jack Callis, man. Jack.
All-time greatest, Jack Callis. There was one stage where he opened the bowling as well for South Africa. Do you know what I mean? Fast pace and batting-wise in all formats, he was incredible. But Shakib has to be in the conversation, I would have to say. You would definitely be in the
he's definitely there. He is the best ever for Bangladesh, no doubt about it.
There's no doubt about that.
The longevity, the thing which I don't like about him is his tantrums. If he like could have controlled those things, so yeah, he would have been like a bit more calmer personality on the field and could have led the team better. But yeah, coming to the game, man, what do you think is going to happen? I predict a very comfortable win, to be honest, for India. Like,
look, I mean, that is the most natural thing to say, isn't it? When you look pound for pound, you guys have the best batting unit. You guys have the better bowling unit. And you definitely are a lot more athletic than us in field. Now, what it comes down to is miracle. That's all I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for a miracle.
Shakib, I was reading, might be a doubt for this game because he has a problem in his quadriceps. So we'll see. I don't know what the update is, but as of yesterday, he was a doubt. So
he
could be a big miss.
He was a bit of an issue against New Zealand. That's where he started to bomb off after facing like 40 odd balls. After that, he was just launching 4s and 6s, and then he eventually got out. I was thinking maybe it's the heat that got to him, but yeah, people did say that it is his quad. Look, even with half a quad, you best believe our captain is starting against India. He is playing, even if he has to wrap it up, even if he has to take some painkillers, he is not missing this game against India. It's too crucial, too big. If someone like Shakib misses out, like that is a huge disadvantage, because for us, he's not just crucial in batting more than batting. I don't really even consider him as crucial anymore in batting that much, because now the age has caught up to him. 2019 World Cup was his unbelievable peak performance where he just scored a plethora of runs. This time around, you can see that the age is not as dynamic as it used to be, but it's the bowling. If India goes off to a flyer, for instance, me personally, I would actually, I would actually bat first. If Bangladesh does win the toss, I would actually like to bat first, and try and post something decent. Do your level best. Look, every department has to play their best game ever. If anyone has even anything less than 7.5 out of 10 performance, then India is going to pounce all over that. India will make sure they'll pounce all over that. My preference would be to bat first, try and post in excess of 250. If we can get into 275 onwards, 280 runs on the board, tight batting, tight bowling. I feel like India, if there is a weakness, much like that Australian game that I saw, if we can have our seamers just move around a little bit in the early stages, especially Rohit Sharma and as well Virat Kohli, I feel like for Rohit Sharma, especially when the ball is coming in from a left-hander, and with Virat Kohli, the ball that goes away, that's where I'm putting my money. That would be the ideal situation for me. But if India bats first, I think it's curtains, man. I think it's curtains. It's absolutely curtains.
I think we would like to see India bat first because 3 games we've been chasing. So we would like to see us bat for that 50 overs without a target in mind. Uh, See, I would feel that this is not the best Bangladesh side in a World Cup. There are weaknesses in this team. You could see that they got like rolled over quite easily against New Zealand and England. Like there was not even a strand of fight, and even in the Afghanistan game, I would say it was they won convincingly, but Afghanistan were very wild in their short selection. I think better
Very
short
well.
selection, and with 70, 80 more runs, I think that becomes an interesting game as well.
They self-destructed. Afghanistan
Yeah.
self-destructed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Bangladesh really not look up to it this time round. So I think it should be.
Do you think there's any weakness? If you were critically looking at India,
Mm.
are there any weakness? If you were the opposition, Baba,
Mm.
where's the weakness in India?
Again, as you've rightly said, if we are chasing a total in region of 260, 270, or maybe a 300, and you get Kohli and Sharma out early, it becomes a bit difficult. Because from India's point of view, you know that you've got the 2 big guns out, right? Like as us fans, either of them, we are used to seeing them play big innings that
Bulk
give us
of the
that
runs. They'll get the bulk of the runs.
bulk of the runs. But if both of them get out, then it's a huge confidence for the opposition also. Like now we are into the Ayers and the KL Rahuls and the Jadejas. So and the Pandyas. These 4 people now have to steer the innings through. But it's not right now. It's not just about Kohli and Rohit. I think Shubman Gill is also a batsman who is in that bracket. I don't know if people realize how big player he's going to be for India.
Huge.
If he keeps his mind on the right track, and if he continues to back his ability, I think he's got a huge range of shots. He's got the perfect technique. He can play all 3 formats equally well. And like we thought that what after Sachin we got Virat and Rohit. What after Virat and Rohit we've got Shubman Gill. So I think right now I feel quite comfortable in that aspect. Like it's not just down to Rohit and Kohli. So yeah, you are right. The momentum is on our side. We've already beaten 2 massive teams, Australia and Pakistan.
Could complacency kick in? Like, are Indians known for complacency? I've never seen it before. Are they known for complacency?
See, I don't think so. This team will get complacent because if you see the 2019 World Cup and this World Cup, the core of the team is same. That we've got Hardik Pandya, Jasprit Bumrah, Kohli, Rohit Sharma, KL Rahul, Ravindra Jadeja, Kuldeep Yadav. So 6-7 players are same, and they are in the playing 11, in your first main 11, who were playing in the 2019 World Cup.
Yeah.
And they know that they stumbled in the last World Cup on that hurdle against New Zealand. The bad patch of 30-35 minutes in that game cost us the whole game. Like
Yeah.
we lost 4 wickets for 20 runs, and then it became very difficult in the end. And like obviously it was very heartbreaking when Dhoni got run out, and we all thought that he might finish it in the last over. But the game was gone, in my opinion. I don't think so Dhoni would have been able to finish that game. So this team has the experience, and this team has lost enough in the past 4 years. Like we've lost a T20 World Cup semi-final. We got
Yeah.
knocked out of a T20 World Cup group stage.
Yeah.
Lost two
Final
Test
as well
championship.
recently in
Yeah,
the T20.
two Test championship finals, and the 2019 semi-final that I've told you about. So this team knows that there is no room for complacency, and we have to play our best team in each and every game. Don't look at the opposition. Even if it's Netherlands, pick your team according to the pitch, not the opponent. If it
Yeah.
spins, play Ashwin. If it's the same, go with the same team. And like there is no reason to change your team. And I feel like if you talk about all the other teams, the playing 11 and the four that are on bench, I think the four players that are on bench, India has the best bench right now. Like
Hands
if
down. Hands down.
the two batsmen that India have, Ishan Kishan and Surya Kumar Yadav.
They start in every other team, you know that. They'll start in every other team.
They'll start in every other team. Fast bowler, you have Mohammad Shami, who's a world class bowler. I'm a huge Mohammad Shami fan. I think
He's a good player, but I think he's probably on the decline now. He's probably on the way down now.
But he's very irreliable in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then you've got Ravichandran Ashwin if you're looking for another spinner.
World class.
So I don't think so any other team has a bench that India has. So even if we rotate, like the rotation is the only sign of complacency, or only thing that you're giving away to your opponent. Like, okay, we are taking it easy. We are resting a Bumrah in this game, or we are resting a Jadeja or a Shubman Gill who's recently come from dengue and all of that. The players who come in are capable enough to do the job,
and they're hungry as well, man. Like those players will be looking at, if I get an opportunity to come into this team and do well, they could potentially keep a spot as well. So that's why maybe those starters, the regular starters, will not allow for complacency or maybe even rotation, because they'll feel like, no, just continue me playing. This is a tough ask. This is what I'm saying. Like, I'm just hoping that from a Bangladesh's point of view, we need to play out of our skin. We have to play out of our skin. We cannot drop any catches. Every run must be, if there is an opportunity to stop, we have to try our level best to stop misfieldings. We have to be so focused. And our bowling, line and length. If you have 6 balls and you bowl 4 good ones, and then you think, okay, 4 dot balls, I feel like I'm in a bit of a rhythm. I can take it easy, and that 5th ball that is outside of the length, you best believe these Indian batsmen are going to score either a 4 or a 6 out of that, and that will ruin.
Or either you become greedy and you pitch it full in hope to look for some swing, and it does not swing,
and you get slapped through covers, or you get flicked from the pad. These are the things that we need to look out for. These are the things we have to look out for, and our biggest issue at the moment, Baba, is our batting. Our batting is a big issue. We don't seem to have a plan. Whenever we are batting, we don't have a plan. What do we want to do in the first 10? What do we want to do from 10 to 25, let's say? What do we want to do with 25 to 40? How many wickets can we try and keep? How should we accelerate? We don't seem to have a plan. You see someone like Litton Das, who came in against New Zealand, first ball, tries to go down the track and he tries to flick it off his pad straight to the guy. Do you know what I mean? Straight to the guy in deep leg. So
a bit of a desperation. bit of a desperation in the batting, like how they
Yeah,
approach.
these are the things we have to have a plan. Go out there with a plan and post a decent total. All I ask, all I ask for the Bangladeshi cricket team, go out there and if you are batting first, which I hope you are, post a decent total. And I would say my decent total would be somewhere around 275 to 200, somewhere around 275 plus. And then let's see. And then let's see what happens. We'll see. I still
Yep.
expect to lose, but at least give it a chance.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game. Good game, definitely. Bangladesh has to make sure they don't risk their shots when Bumrah is bowling. Exactly what Miz has just now spoken. And while India is batting, they have to take down openers quickly. These two
Yeah.
could play major role in deciding the game. Yes, definitely. Uh, uh, yes, tailenders have been a problem for us. We kind of tend to leak runs against tailenders, but yeah. Pakistan game, I was glad that we did not give cheap runs easily. But yeah, I don't think so. Anything less than 250 should be a problem for our batting lineup, to be honest, no matter what the pitch is. Even on a
Where
pitch,
is it, by the way? Where is it?
Pune, Maharashtra.
Mm.
So
Is it generally a pace
it's a
friendly spin?
it's a decent pitch. I think teams will score 270 to 80 if they bat properly.
Mm.
So dew should be a factor in the second innings under lights. So I don't know if the team who wins the toss will like to bat first or not
Mm.
because of the dew factor. So that's also an issue because we've seen dew playing a major role. And now that the weather is also changing a bit, so you could
Mm.
see a bit of conditions favoring fast bowlers as well. So let's see what happens. I predict a comfortable stroll for India to the semis. We are topping the group,
Mm.
and the semi-final is the game which really concerns me. If it's against Pakistan, who are like rivals, not necessarily rivals, because 8-0 you don't call it a rivalry, but it adds pressure, right? So you wouldn't want to face a Pakistan or an Australia in a semi-final. England right now, bring it on. South Africa, bring it on. New Zealand, no.
Mm.
So let's see what happens. So yeah, guys, that's it from our side. That was the discussion about South
Beautiful.
Africa, Netherlands, World Cup in general, and of course the match tomorrow, India versus Bangladesh. And let's see what happens. MCA Stadium is a betting. A lot of pitches have been redone before this
Mm.
World Cup, so you don't really know what to expect from certain pitches. So let's see. Uh, in Pakistan game, we gave runs to tailenders. I mean, Babar and Rizwan.
Cheeky, cheeky.
Okay, the boys got no chill. Yesterday, we saw glimpses of South Africa, what they could do in semi-final.
Yeah, choke. That's all they can do.
uh, Miss,
Gaming
are you
saying,
from?
Miz, are you from Bangladesh?
No, he's from Paraguay. So that's why he's talking about Bangladesh cricket and he knows so much. And that's why he's saying his family is in Bangladesh and he talks about Bangladesh cricket, knows insides and outsides of Bangladesh cricket because he's from Paraguay. Uh, he's from land of Miguel Almiron, his Paraguayan brother.
The legendary goalkeeper. Oh, sorry, Miguel Almiron, the winger. There's
The
that Paraguayan
Newcastle.
goalkeeper, remember? Chilavet. Chilavet?
Shilebet.
Remember that? Well, Paraguayan goalkeeper was Chile goalkeeper. One of those ones.
I only remember Ochoa from Mexico. Streets will never forget Ochoa. Okay, guys. Thank you so much who all have joined us, and please do make sure to like the stream before you leave, and do make sure to subscribe to the other side of the coin. And hopefully, this cricket thing will continue throughout the course of the World Cup and maybe beyond that as well. Who knows? We might start to do cricket regularly, and hopefully, Miz also does something related to cricket. It was a lot of fun talking to you, Miz, man. A lot of
I
fun.
hope everyone enjoyed this as well, and people that
Mm.
will watch it later as well.
Mm.
Let us know in the comment section if you've enjoyed, because I thoroughly have enjoyed, and I told Baba that
Mm.
let's start doing some more cricket content, especially with Baba having this second channel
Mm.
where we could do a lot of cricket stuff. I think it'll be interesting leading up to obviously going through everything in this World Cup, but then even after the World Cup, with the new generations, because even I think with Indian cricket as well, there's a lot of players that probably won't see the next World Cup.
Yep.
This might be their last World Cup, so I think it'll be interesting to see the new batch of players that will emerge in the world scene until the next World Cup comes around. I think it'll be interesting to talk about all of them.
Yes, definitely. Always there's a transition. You feel there's a transition, a new page turning whenever a World
There
Cup gets
is,
done.
there is.
Right. So yeah, please do more of these streams, brother. Good vibes. Definitely, bro. Thank you so much for your support. And yeah, we'll see you in a bit. And a lot of Chelsea related stuff is also coming your way from our main channels. And yeah, Chelsea play Arsenal this weekend, so we have to talk about that as well. So yeah, guys, take care, everyone, and all the best to all of you, whoever you are supporting, and let's hope for a good game tomorrow. Take care, guys. Love you all. Bye bye.